What's up, YouTube? I am so sorry for being late. Please forgive me. I was trying to, excuse me, I was trying to get my camera working so that you guys could read along with me on the book. Hey, JB. Hey, Momo. Hey, y'all. My girls. So, yeah, it was funny because I was kind of going over the book while I was in one of my favorite rooms of the house, and it's actually not as long as it seems. This book, the book is in my thumbnail, and this is one of the books that they're going to be reading to the children in school. Um, and I just wanted you guys to see some of the pictures, but don't worry, I'll be able to give you a visual. I got you. Don't trip. What's going on, Muffy? Thank you for coming by, mamas. So this book is a book to teach children about body ownership, respectful relationships, feelings and emotions, choices, and recognizing bullying behaviors. And the title of it is Let's Talk About Body Boundaries, Consent, and Respect. Now, we can't skip. So I'm going to start on the second page. It is a note from the author to the reader, because we have to get into understanding what this person, what their intentions were when they wrote this book. And remember, we're talking about subjects, characters, gender, equality. We're talking about a lot of stuff to the youngest of young, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, to kids that don't even understand the majority of this stuff. So we have to get into the mindset, which means we got to go through it all. Now, a note to the reader says teaching young children about body boundaries, both theirs and others, is crucial to a child's growing sense of self, their confidence, and how they should expect to be treated by others. A child growing up knowing they have a right to their own personal space gives that child ownership and its choices as to what happens to them and to their body. It is equally important a child understands from a very young age they need to respect another person's body boundary and ask for consent when entering their personal space. This book explores these concepts with a children in a child-friendly and easily understood manner, providing familiar scenarios for children to engage with and discuss. And it's important that the reader and the child take time required to unpack each scenario and explore what they mean both to the character in the book, who may not be respecting somebody's body boundary, and to the character who is being disrespected. It is through these vital discussions that children will learn the meaning of body boundaries, consent, and respect. Now, one of the things I want to go over before we get started. Hey, Kitten Zombie. You beyond it, man. So proud of all of you. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you, baby. Now, one of the things I want to say about this note to the reader, and I wish you guys could see this. I just got a new camera. And I was trying to get it connected, but I couldn't. I got it connected to the computer, but I couldn't get it connected to the OBS. So I'll have that ready for the next go round so that you guys can see the visuals. It'll be easier for you to understand, I think, if you can see what the characters and the visuals that they're presenting to these young kids. Now, out of what I just read to you, what stuck out to me when it says it is important that the reader and the child take time required to unpack each scenario and explore. The reader of such a book like this ain't gonna be the mama, the daddy, or the guardian. It won't be Nana. It won't be Pawpaw. It won't be Uncle Joe. It won't be Auntie Karen. This is going to be read by either the teacher at the school or by a member of the LGBTQ who they are currently transitioning into the schools to read stories to the children. Now, I say LGBTQ lightly, but the reality of it is they are otherwise known as drag queens. Men who dress up as women but may not necessarily want to take on women, body parts. So for you to say the reader and the child need to explore, but anyway, let's go on. So the first pages 4 and 5 list out, 3, 6, 9 kids. They have different colors. It identifies the ethnicity, the diversity from India, Asian, black, white, wear glasses, got freckles, has a hijab on, a hijab, the thing, where they keep their hair covered, and then a young black girl in a wheelchair. And it says your body belongs to you, and you are the boss of it. You are very special, and there is no one exactly like you. Okay, I'm with that. Everyone in the world has a body boundary. Your boundary is the invisible space around your body. This space may be invisible, but that doesn't mean it isn't there. No one should come inside your body boundary without you saying it's okay. Try this. Stand tall and then with your finger outline your invisible body boundary. And they have these, dotted lines and white space behind them as though they could be cutouts. And again, these are visuals for the children. And now, there's a visual of a little girl playing with a train and a little boy coming up behind her smiling, but she looking terrified. And it says, look at this boy. He's trying to hug his little sister. Does she look happy about it? Do you think she wants to be hugged? How can you tell? Well, as an adult, looking at this child's book, her face says it all. She looks fearful and terrified, and she's squinching as though she does not want to be hugged by her brother. Let me tell you something. This particular visual is of two pale kids. May or may not be Caucasian, but they are of the pale skin tone, okay? The people of the dark brown skin tone, our kids are known to run up and hug each other. See, they're giving an example of a non-verbal interaction, right? And then it proceeds to say, here is what the boy should have done. The boy says, can I have a hug, please? And he extends his arms open like he's waiting for a hug. And she runs to him and says, yes, you can. And they hug. The next page says, can I have a hug, please? And she shrugs and says, no, thanks. I don't feel like hugging anyone today. It says the boy should have asked his little sister for a hug. This way the little girl can answer, because after all, it's her body. The little girl has two choices. She could say yes or no. And if she said no, then he should respect that, not hug his little sister. But if she say yes, then it's okay for them to hug, and it shows them hugging. Now, we're just on page 10 and 11. But my issue with this is that you don't proceed forward with showing what happens when somebody continues to invade your space. You also don't give a visual of what happens when an adult invades a child's space. Let's keep going. The next page has a pale face or brown, well, she could be a pale face too, but she looked more orange brown, grandmother and a young child. And then the other page is a black grandmother with a black child. The pale grandmother says sometimes a person may not be sure when another person asks them for a kiss or a hug. That might say, I'm not sure I want a kiss, or they may not say nothing at all. When a person says, I'm not sure, they say nothing at all, this is not a yes. The person has not given their consent. Consent is another important word for you to know. Consent means you have said yes and you have happily agreed to the hug or the kiss. We're talking about a 4-year-old child. They barely know their first and last name, may or may not know their birth date or their phone number. And you want them to understand what a body boundary is, what consent is, what respect is, all of the things. Hey, Diva. Thank you. So, we're talking about grandma. We're talking about now. Most of the time in our culture, the black culture, if we want a hug, we run up and give you a hug and a squeeze and talk googly googly goochie goochie to you. And usually the kids turn around and express the same. Now, we also have children that just may not be in the mood. They may be focused on playing. They may be concentrating on something else, or they may be standing in line anticipating on getting something, and you distracting them. They trying to get their ice cream. They trying to get this plate. They trying to get these toys, whatever the case may be. In the black culture, the children are not going to turn around and say, don't hug me. That's what they ain't going to do. You know why? Because one of the first things they learn at home is you have to do what mommy and daddy says do. Out of all of these examples, none of them represent a mommy or a daddy. None of them. Now, sometimes kids say yes to kisses and hugs when they really don't want a kiss or a hug. This might be because an older child or a teenager or an adult has asked them. It is always important to say exactly what you want. Remember, it's your body, and what you say goes. You can say no to kisses and hugs if you want to. You can say no to an older child, teenager, or adult. Be careful telling a young child that they can tell a grown person no, especially in the black and brown culture. Okay? Black people don't take well to children telling them no to any damn thing other than a choice of something. Do you want to go swimming or not? Do you want to get in the pool or not? Do you want cake and ice cream or just a hot dog and french fries? They're willing to answer no on those type of questions for choice. But when it comes to you grabbing them by their hand and them snatching away, you giving them a hug and they flinching away, you trying to pick them up and them kicking and throwing a fit, will result in them getting their ass tore up. In most black or brown homes. Not all, but some. Remember, you're talking to 4 and 5-year-old children, maybe even 6. But by 6, I'm sure the book will become more graphic. And even if you say yes to a cuddle or someone holding your hand, you can ask them to stop at any time. Just because you said yes doesn't mean they can hold your hand as long as they want. If that is your mama, your daddy, your nana, your guardian, someone that is watching over you at this particular time, like if you about to cross the street and they grab your hand, I wish you would say you don't want them to hold your hand. Again, you're going to get your ass tore up right there on the corner, at the red light, in the public, with the people in the cars looking at you, probably putting your ass on video, and you still gonna get your ass whooped, okay? It shows an older girl trying to hold her. They were first holding her hand, and then on the next page, she goes to reach for her hand, and she says, I don't want to hold hands right now. And the teenage girl says, okay, that's fine. We're going back to the black family again. They said sometimes you might want to hug your baby brother or sister, and even though a baby can't speak, you can tell if a baby wants to be hugged or not. If the baby likes your hug, they will gurgle and smile, and sometimes they'll lean into you. If they don't want a hug, they might cry or have a sad face or try to push you away. You have to look out for these things because the baby cannot tell you with words. We all have to respect a baby's boundary, a body boundary too. The hell you say? If it's a baby, he or she can't do nothing for themselves, especially give you or retract consent. It's an infant, a baby, a toddler, a preschooler. They can't give consent to nothing other than whether they want chicken or pork chops, peas or carrots. Now, you have a yard full of kids, and some holding hands, some are walking, talking, playing, some got the ball. They say every person is different, and some people like hugs and kisses and holding hands, and some don't. You may hold a hand on Monday, but it don't mean you want to hold a hand on Tuesday. Now, it goes on to another scenario with the black culture again. A young, looks like a black boy. I don't know, the colors make me think it's a girl. Let's see. It's a boy. They got him in girl colors, but it's okay. And then his cousin is an older boy. With a pink shirt and stripes under a purple jacket with yellow pineapples on it. This boy's older cousin wants him to ride on his bike with him. Do you think the boy wants to go on the bike? How do you know? That's right. The boy's face tells us. Does the boy have to do what his older cousin tells him to do? What should the younger boy do? That's right. He could say, no, I'm not going with you. What should the older boy do? Yes, he should say something like, no problem. Maybe next time you can come with me. We talking about black folks here. Now, I told you these kids right here is black folks with an orange dachshund dog. And if I send your big brother to come get you, if I send your cousin, your nephew, your niece, the neighbor, if I send somebody around that corner to come and get you, you better get your ass on that bike and come on to the house like they told you I said do. Otherwise, you're going to get your ass tore up. See, they're in my opinion, it's almost like they're impeding, they're stepping on the parents or the guardians' toes by trying to tell them what they feel like they should do. Now, I agree with the concept, body boundaries. I absolutely do. If you don't want to be touched, I absolutely do agree that at some point in time later in life, you should be taught that right. 4 and 5 years old, they're babies. You ain't got to teach them that. Trust me. If they don't want to hold your hand, if they want to try to run off down to and play, get on the horses, they're going to snatch away and run off. Kids are kids. They going to test you. They going to try you. They going to pull your coattail. Okay? It is the parent's job to tell them if that's an acceptable behavior or not. Okay? But it just seemed like they taking over. And then it says, what should the younger boy do if his older cousin does not listen to him, if he does not respect his wishes? Yes, that's right. He should tell an adult on his safety network. Now, the safety network for this little boy, they don't give me his name. Oh, Sonny. His safety network consists of his mother, his grandpa, his teacher, Mr. Ross, and the neighbor, Jenny. They're telling them that a safety network is made up of 3 to 5 adults that you trust. These are adults you could tell anything to and they'll believe you. One should not be a family member. In this case, he got 2 that's not a family member. And I agree. You need to have somebody that you can trust when you tell them something, because a lot of times kids, not infants or toddlers, will try to tell their parents that somebody done touched them or somebody hurt them or made them feel some kind of way. But they're afraid because they've been intimidated and threatened and told not to say anything to anybody. But you want to. Sometimes if you make the child feel uncomfortable, they won't say anything. These are important things to look out for even as adults. I get it. You might be playing tonk. Hell, y'all could be shooting craps for all I know. Y'all could be watching the game, playing video games, playing the makeup. You can be doing whatever. But if that child come to you to talk to you about somebody, you really should listen. And you should also get in the habit of whenever your child comes back from hanging out with someone, down the street to the neighbor's house, with your brother, with your nephew, with your cousin, ask questions. They can call us nosy hoes all they want. Ask questions, because see, sometimes you'd be surprised what a child might tell you when you get them feeling comfortable, like with, an ice cream cone, or, they may open up and tell all kind of stuff. Because see, out of the mouth, out of the child, what is it? Out of the child's mind. What is it? Out of the child mind, out of a child's mouth, innocence spoken, or something along those lines. I can't quite remember. You know what I'm saying, though. It sounds like conditioning to take away. JB, that's the perfect way to say it. I agree with how you said it. It sounds like conditioning to take away parenting rights. Okay, so now, yep, speak on it, girl. Speak on it. Now, they're at what appears to be an outdoor birthday party. Again, all type of ethnicities. Some people giving high fives. The little toddler baby is giving high five to the dog. Some people are hugging, look like they actually dancing. Just a big barrage of different touching moments. It says most of the time we all love to have cuddles and kisses, but remember, you can always say no. Everybody has a boundary. Respect is a very important word. We need to respect people's body boundaries, and we need to respect people's choices too. This boy is playing in the sandbox. He's playing with a green bucket and spade. Look at what the other boy is doing. He's trying to take the bucket away so he can use it. Is he doing the right thing? What does the boy in the blue hat need to do? Well, I don't know about what he need to do other than leave that little boy bucket alone. Because again, these kids are of a pale color. And had this been a black or a brown color, the first time they would have snatched the bucket back. If the little boy proceeds to snatch it the second time, the next time they probably gonna bust him in his head with that spade. I'm just letting you know. That's how the parents, that's how the black and the brown parents tell you. Somebody hit you, you hit them back. Who are you to tell them they can't hit them back? Because that's wrong. Because that's what the next page proceeds to say. Hitting him is not a good choice. You should never do that. The hell you say? That's not what his parents say, and he got to listen to his parents first. Out of the mouth of babe, the truth is spoken. Well, sometimes, hey, Lovey. Hey, Eliana. Yeah. Yeah. And I know you've heard the saying, out of the mouth of babes. Like that one Instagram video that went viral, and the little girl was, one of them, the little girl was getting her hair done, and the lady said, "You don't want your hair done?" She said, "Why?" She said, "Because you stink." And then the little boy was sitting on the floor in front of a lady with a dress on, her leg, a house coat on, and her legs gapped open, and I don't remember what she was saying, but she was saying something about they should have closed some, and he said, you need to close your legs." Babe's gonna tell you the truth whether it hurt your feelings or not. That's just how they are. So some things you can't try to change and have them apply when you want them to, not that at the age of 4. That's why, again, it's my opinion, it's up to the parents on when they're gonna start having the birds and the bees discussion. Now, yeah, back in my day, they used to have a whole class called sexual education where they talk to you about having rubbers and cooking and taking care of babies and all of the things. That was in junior high school. I think I was in, 9th grade? 9th grade when they had that class. You want to talk to a 4-year-old? He don't even know his phone number, his address. But you want to tell him something about a boundary and respect and consent. Bitch, he can't spell his name. If he can say it, he can't spell it at 4? 5 years old. Girl, y'all better go on. Waiting for our turn is also very important. They got him in the lunch line. The little girl being a bully, she goes and push the first girl in out of the way and take her space. They said, she could say, "Stop, don't push in front of me. You need to wait your turn." Well, usually when you got somebody taller than you, bigger than you, older than you, they can be intimidating to a younger person, a smaller person, even a smaller person. Now, a person that's been, taught about the keep your hands to yourself type of situation, they know how to handle it already because their mom and dad already taught them. See, now you done moved up. You got look like a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old in a wheelchair in the back. But these other kids look like they anywhere between 8 and 14 years old. You can talk about it, but their parents should have most likely done already discussed it. Then it says the other girl needs to learn to wait. She needs to line up like the other children. Sometimes we just have to wait our turn. It might make us angry, but we need to find a way to calm down. Why did he proceed to say a good idea is to take some big, deep breaths? Now, you stepping into the medicinal line. Because, see, this little child could have some type of mental illness. ADD, ADHD, bipolar. He could have be autistic, have some kind of special deficiency. It could be a number of things. Who are you to tell them what they're supposed to do when they get angry? Now, once they've gotten there, yeah, you can tell them that, because with a child, they go from 0 to 100 worse than a grown person will at the age of 4. See, at the age of 4, if you make a child cry, when that first cry come out, a lot of them just going to wail you upside your head right then and they're letting you know how pissed off they are. So I think this book is wearing a little bit too many hats. Then it proceeds to tell her What could the girl in line do if she too scared to say anything? That's right. She could tell an adult on her safety network. So you gonna go the rest of the day in school. You done had to get at the end of the line. They didn't have what you wanted when you got up there. You pissed off now. You gonna be pissed off when you get home. But when you get home, your mama tell you to go in there and wash up and get your homework done and da 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 da. Cause she cooking and she on the phone or she watching TV and you trying to talk to her and she ain't talking. What you supposed to do? Go next door and talk to your neighbor. What you supposed to do? Call Mr. Ross at the schoolhouse and tell him what happened? You have to be careful how you instruct kids. Because if you're trying to get in the way of their parents, it could be a problem. Now, at the back of this book, after they always talking about you can say no and put your hand up, it has a couple of pages that say discussion questions for parents, caregivers, and educators. And let's see. It talks about respect. Encourage a discussion around the word respect. Children are not too young to use and understand this term. Point out when someone shows another person respect in daily life. This will further help your child to understand the term. Now you trying to tell a parent how to raise their child. You see how quick it changed from being about the child to being a y'all? Why? Because you said the person that's reading the book to the child should make sure that they engage and explore these options. That's what a teacher's supposed to do. That's something that they can help teach how to do in school is respect. You're also supposed to be learning it at home. But out of this whole book, you not once had an illustration or an example of an adult asking a child to do something or grabbing a child by the arm or invading their space and they tell them no. Because when it comes to them people over there from the island, them petter people, the child gonna be saying no, quit, stop, crying, hollering, kicking, scratching, biting, and doing all the things. Guess what? They might get punched and knocked all the way out. And they personal boundary gonna still be violated. Now, yes, they still need to know that they need to go and tell somebody in their safety network if they get out alive. Yeah, they should. Now, so let's just make this kind of intimate. So your granddaughter comes home and tell you Dr. Ross been hurting her. He been taking her to the bathroom. You're the neighbor to somebody else's child. When the little child tell you, I said granddaughter, let's change it. You're the neighbor to you're the neighbor to somebody else's child who comes and tells you that their teacher been touching them. You're black, they're pale. What do you think the first thing they gonna do? Call the popos or call CPS. Most people, if you in good rhythm with your neighbors, they may reach out to you and let you know. That same child could come over there and tell the neighbor that somebody in that house been touching them. Either way, you getting a knock at the door. You may or may not know before they show up at the door. You may find out at the last minute and still be confused when you make it down to the jail. Now, once that happens, sometimes the kid might get to come home and sometimes not. Now, guess what? If they're in some shelter or group home for, kids taken away from their parents, aren't they in a more dangerous position now? That child don't know none of those people. Respect and consent and boundaries and all of that is out of the window because they're in a stressed out environment now, right? Adrenaline is pumping, strange environment, nervous, scared, angry, want to cry, probably have cried, don't want her touching him because, nigga, I don't know you. I don't want you to hold me. I just want to cry and be left alone. Some people may be considerate of what the child is going through and others may not. It's still a young child and a lot of that should be taught at home. But again, where are your examples for the adults? You're practicing and discussing consent and boundaries with other children, but what about the adults? What about the adults? What you should have been telling them is how to evade strangers. If the man is driving up with the ice cream truck, you can't go to the ice cream truck without your mama or your daddy or your sister. Because, see, the ice cream man can snatch you up, too. I'm just saying. What do you think about this book and this book trying to tell a kid, a small child, about their body and consent? What are your thoughts? I see JB said they doing too much. Okay. Demon and devil stories for kids. Here's something called Daniel and the Devil. Let's see if... So, I'm going to give you a little bit of Daniel and the Devil. This is in the book Demon and Devil Stories for Kids. And it's got a cute little devil with devil horns, but also got a halo. He got a spear tail, and he has a 3-digit. He got his pitchfork. Now, it says that Daniel and the Devil is a story taken from the Holy Cross and other tales. Daniel was a very wretched man. As he sat with his head bowed upon his desk that evening, he made up his mind that his life had been a failure. I've labored long and hard and diligently, he said to himself, and although I'm known throughout the city as an industrious and shrewd businessman, I'm still a poor man and still probably continue to be so the rest of my days, unless... He stopped and he shivered. For a week or more, he had been brooding over his unhappy lot. There seemed to be but one way out of his trouble, yet his soul revolted from taking that step. That was why he stopped and shivered. But I must do something. My 9 children are growing up into big boys and girls. Nigga, 9? You should have been learned how to stop and lock that thing up. You done messed around and got 9 kids. No wonder you unhappy. I'm sorry, I digress. They must have those advantages which my limited means will not admit of. All my life so far has been pure, circumspect, and rigid. Poverty has at last broken my spirit. I give up the fight. I'm ready to sell my soul to the devil. This is what you're going to read to a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old. The determination is the wise one, said a voice at Daniel's elbow. Daniel looked up and beheld a grim-visaged stranger in a chair next to him. The stranger was arrayed all in black, and he exhaled a distinct odor of sulfur. You know, they say the devil smells of sulfur. Am I to understand, asked the stranger, that you are prepared to enter into a league with the devil? Yes, said Daniel firmly, and he set his teeth together after the fashion of a man who is not to be moved from his purpose. Then I am ready to treat with you, said the stranger. Daniel said, are you the devil? He said, no, but I'm authorized to enter into contracts for him. My name is Beelzebub, and I am my master's most trusted agent. That name is a name from the Bible. Let's just go on and keep that shit 100. That is the name in the Bible. One of many names in the Bible. My name is Beelzebub, and I am my master's most trusted agent. He says, sir, you must pardon me. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but one of the rules governing my career as a businessman has been to deal directly with principals, never to trust the offices of the middlemen. The affair now in hand is one concerning the devil and myself, and between us two, and only us two, can we sign off. He said, well, as it so happens, this is Friday, commonly called Hangman's Day. And that is as busy a time in our particular locality as a Monday is in laundry, as the first of every month is at a bookkeeper's desk. You can understand, perhaps, that this is the devil's busiest day. Therefore, be content to make this deal with me, and you'll find that my master will cheerfully accept any contract I may enter to as his agent on his behalf. He said, no, only the devil. So he made Beelzebub go back to the devil and make known his wishes. Beelzebub left, laughing. Presently back came the devil, and surely it was the devil this time. There could be no mistake about it. For he wore a scarlet cloak and had cloven feet, and carried about with him as many suffocating smells as there are kinds of brimstone, sulfur, and asafoetida. The two talked over Daniel's miseries. The devil sympathized with Daniel and ever and anon, I don't know what all of those big words are. He didn't cry one tear. The devil said, what you want is money. That will give you the comfort and contentment you crave. Daniel said, yes, it will give me every opportunity to do good. The devil said, to do good? To do good indeed. Yes, it's many a good time we shall have together, friend Daniel. Ha 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 ha. Daniel failed to see what the devil was so jolly about. Daniel was not a humorist. He was just a plain businessman. It was finally agreed that Daniel would sell his soul to the devil upon condition that for the space of 24 years, the devil should serve Daniel faithfully, should provide him with riches, and should do whatsoever he was commanded to do. Then at the end of the 24th year, Daniel's soul was to pass into the possession of the devil and was to remain there forever without recourse or benefit of clergy. Surely a more horrible contract was never entered into. Now, I don't need some more to that, but we're going to stop right there. And let's talk about bringing the Bible into the schoolhouse. Bringing the devil into the schoolhouse. Because, see, y'all cut the Bible out of the schoolhouse. Remember? Y'all took the Bible out of the schoolhouse. You took prayer out of the schoolhouse. You took the Pledge of Allegiance out of the schoolhouse. And now you want to bring in Satan. Does anybody not see something wrong with this? You want to raise the kids, take our rights away and raise the kids. And you don't want them to know about God and angels, but you want to tell them everything it is about devils. Is that because all of y'all are evil? All y'all on the same shit kick? Pay attention. When the teachers tell the kids that they need to go and check out a certain book from the library to read for homework assignment, you need to know a little bit about that book. What the name of it is, what it's about. If they're reading the book, maybe you could start off reading a little bit of it to them. You need to know these things. The same way them grandbabies and grandnieces you throw in front of a TV with some dry Fruit Loops. You need to, you need to be paying attention to what Nickelodeon is showing them on there. That go for Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse too. Who is that, Disney? That go for them too. You better be careful. Keep my granddaughters at home, Lord. Hey, this is what is happening, and we didn't have a voice on it. We didn't have a say on it. But it's going to happen. In any way that you let your kid go to school. Remember what I told you about that separation thing. If your kids go to public school, if your pre-kids go, and see, and to me, that's something that I can see coming. I haven't heard anything about it. But if it's out there, I know Mama going to tell me. I'm waiting to see when they're going to change the age for school-age children. When they're going to drop it from 6 to 4. I'm just waiting. Now, if that's already happened and I didn't know, feel free to tell me. Because last time I know you couldn't start school until you got to the age of 6. And if you had a late birthday, you wouldn't start school until 7. How do you know? Because I had a late birthday. My birthday was in November. School starts in August. So I couldn't start school because it was 3 months before my birthday. So I had to wait all the way until the next August to come around to start school. Just saying. You gotta pay attention. Cartoons is not what it used to be. And as a matter of fact, what is it? What was it I had that I wanted to show you guys? Girl, I got it ready too. Where is it? What happened to it? Display window. Oh, did I delete it? Oh, here you go. Let me put up. Thank you very much, JB. Let me see. Was this on Instagram? I think this was on. Oh, let me go to saved. I know what I did. I saved it so that I wouldn't have to struggle to find it. It's not in my Instagram. Well, it may be under somebody's thing. Thought I had saved it. I guess I didn't. Let me see. Yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time looking for it. I thought I had it queued up. Well, anyway, it is it was a video about the woman, the teacher the teacher wanted to get involved with the student. He didn't think she was that cute, but she started to fail him when he wouldn't comply. And when he tried to tell his people, his daddy said, well, if she want the D, maybe you should give her the D and get your A's. They had never met the teacher. I said they had never met the teacher. I'm not gonna bore you with the middle part, but at the end of the day, long story short, it was a blackmail situation. What you talking about? The teacher blackmailed the daddy for hundreds and thousands of dollars. How sway? Because when the husband when the son decided that he was gonna go on and give it a D, she was recording him every time he came and started to flirting and trying to hit on her and touching on her butt and touching on her. She was recording him. Oh, did I say the teacher was already sleeping with his daddy? Now, how detached are you from your child's life? How detached are you when you are already sleeping with your child's teacher? You don't even know she his teacher, and now she done started sleeping with the son and blackmailed you and said that she would have your son kicked out of school and expelled because she was gonna holler the R word. She was gonna flip the script and say that his daddy was blackmailing her. Ooh, the scams are so real. Now, I don't know about y'all, but we met the teacher every year. We saw the teacher at least twice. At the beginning of school, when they first got their classes, and for a parent-teacher conference. Now, if you didn't go no other times, that was on you, but you was going to know that you was going to meet that teacher at least twice. What adult allows a teenage child to be in school and you don't know who the teacher is? She said, see, what happened was, look, I don't know about y'all, but it's some things you really have to make a priority. Now, it's all kind of articles out here. It's so much out here that you could look up. Just simply Google and find out that it's all kind of stuff been happening. Like the boyfriend shot the fiance 10 times and her 3-year-old daughter once, killed them. This is just, what, 2-3 days ago? About 2 weeks ago, a 12-year-old opened fire on the police when they pulled up. Have y'all been keeping up with those stories? Yeah. Let's see. This is a YouTube link. Britney Spears tried to kick her daddy off her conservatorship because, you know, ever since she had that meltdown back when she was with her ex-husband, what's his name, Kevin, when she had that mental breakdown, they made her dad, put her daddy in charge of her, what they refer to as conservatorship, which is basically put him over the money like an executive of the state, except she was very much alive. They put her in patients. She got counseling. She was on medication for a little while. Kevin Featherline, that was his last name. Yeah. They put her daddy in charge of this girl's money. Let me tell you what kind of money Britney Spears was making when she married Kevin Federline. Britney had what was it? 500,000 a month from was it Pepsi or Coke sponsorship? One of those drinks she had a sponsorship with. Then she was in talks for getting residency in Vegas so she could perform in Vegas. Britney was just singing and dancing her little butt off. She was shaking it out. Britney was making anywhere between 1.1, which is, you know, 1.1 million to $2 million a month. That's how much Britney was making. When you add all of her sponsorships and her, you know, all of her business deals and stuff, Britney was making a killing, and she was young, and she had mental health, and she had postpartum, and she had been abused. But she could sing and dance, and she was with a record label, so she was stuck like Chuck. This has been what, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago? Because Britney's kids is in high school now, right? Let's see. Yeah. Damn, yeah, middle school. Yeah. They got Britney Spears right off of, damn. MICKEYMOUSC, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. Forever will our friends go high, something like that, you know. For all our friends and family, something. MICKEYMOUSC. That show. She was just a child. I know I can't sing, screw y'all. Y'all know how we do over here. Girl, they got her straight off of Disney. Her sister tried to follow, but she didn't have what Britney had. Britney had rhythm. Britney could sing. And the kids loved Britney. The kids loved Britney. Y'all remember Britney shaved all her hair off, and then they had to try to go melt some more hair on there to make her day instead of just giving her a wig. I think the first couple of times they did give her a wig. But I don't think she was with the whole gluing and, you know, adhesive type of thing back then. So they went on into what Beyonce gets done when they take a little string of hair, a couple of strings of hair, and then they take the extension and they like melt it on. Yeah. That's how she was wearing her weave after she had sewed all her hair off. I know y'all remember. And then Kevin left her and went over there and started messing with Star Jackson. Even got a baby by her. Her daddy put her daddy over the money so that Kevin wouldn't rob her blind for it. Because I think at one point they was trying to get her to pay him $273,000 a month for child support. It was a mess. Now I don't think his kids were in any danger, but can you imagine having a career like that and small children? and you study on the road and you trying to take them on the road with you, you got all kind of nannies and tutors and whatnot. See, a big entourage ain't always good for you. Should be happening. See, your entourage, you end up getting a better relationship with the child than you do, and then it's an easy takeover. And they all messed up. That's right, JB. That's right. And while she still ain't recovered from her postpartum, she ain't in no position to try to save the kids again, which is why they put her daddy over to charge her money. Now she trying to get access to her own money, and they still saying no. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. They still saying no. So, just wanted to go through. We're going to, at some point, I may read some of these other stories aloud, or I may read them and talk about them. But the next time I had a camera situated ready, I got the camera working on the computer. It wouldn't connect to the OBS. And I didn't know how to get it. I didn't know how to go. I've never gone live straight from YouTube. Well, I couldn't go straight from YouTube on this channel because I don't have 1,000, so I didn't have a choice. I was gonna have to go live on the Streamlabs, but on the main channel, I've never been live straight from YouTube without using any other device. So I gotta figure out how to get the camera so that you guys can see the visuals. So I still got 2 more books coming with pictures and animations and all of the things, and we're gonna get into what else they want to talk about with these kids, because I've said all along, until a child, get up to the age of 10 at the very least, they ain't got permission to give, or no authority to give nobody no consent to do a damn thing. They got to come, matter of fact, all the way until they 18 years old. Anything you want them to do or want to say or do to them, you got to come and holler at me first. But see, the pale Caucasian don't feel that way. And I'll tell you something else before we wrap this up, and I'm going to let y'all go. It's mighty funny. It ain't really funny, but it's kind of funny how all of these Karens, these Beckys and Peggy's and Paulines and Joshua's and whatnots is finding it so easy to use the N word when they arguing and fight with us. I find that so weird. So many of them are starting to feel so comfortable calling us monkeys and N words. And I saw a video today, and I swear to God, I wanted that man to put his fist all the way through his mouth till it come out the back of his head. Now, I knew that wouldn't have been the right thing to do. I know. But at the moment, I was heated. Then when the police got there, they already knew him, and he started telling them, "What are you doing here?" He started going off on the officer, big, fat, nasty white man. Started going off on the police officer, telling him, "What is you doing here? You out of your jurisdiction. You need to get on back in your car and go on about your business." He was like, "Go on, Josh. I'll talk to you later. Go on, Josh. Go on, Josh." See, that was a sign to me that you and Josh know each other from the boys club, the golf club. Y'all kids go to school together. Y'all on the PTA. Y'all on the school board. Y'all somewhere. Y'all know each other, because he is cussing you like a dog. Call that man all kind of N-words and monkeys and go back to your country and stuff. And instead of him telling him, "Look, if you don't go into the house, I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to lock you up and put you in the car until I'm done, because I can't talk to him." It didn't come out right. It wasn't handled right. It was just a mess. And we see this every day, more and more and more of it. So my thing is, I beg of you, don't be distracted with the fool-la-la. Just remember that they are doing all they can to get their agenda on the children. And the only way they can do that is if we're not paying attention. That's the only way they could do that. Didn't I teach you my grandbabies that BS? She sent them to say. Yeah, you did, huh? It might have been you, JB girl. I finally went through the dang messages. I got 9 of them over there now. I finally went through them, girl, and I saw that you talking about pissed off. I was like, this is crazy. I done seen the white women in the grocery store. I seen the one man at the restaurant. I seen that white woman spit in that man's face, and that black woman came out from around that black man like, bitch, he won't hit you, but I'll lay your ass out. Started laying them hate makers on her ass, boy. I was like, now see, that's what I'm talking about. Now she struck first, so I'm sure she going to jail and catch a charge too. But it's speaking of that, I'm almost, the more and more I hear about Minnesota, Minneapolis up there, I'm starting to think Minneapolis is going to lead the way here in a minute to something real nasty, real gnarly with this police. We looking for justice and some fairness. We want people to recognize what's right and wrong and hold them accountable. But this thing look like it's getting twisted up real bad. So y'all keep your eyes on what's going on in Minneapolis too, because it may bleed over into some of the other states. And you know, you may not live anywhere near Minneapolis. I don't. So it's going to be a while before it make it to California. But you never know how close you are and how much. Remember, is if they got bills that's being passed and signed off every day by your governors, and they're merging them into other articles that are already law. They pass that bill, and the next thing you know, it's a law, and we don't get a say. Pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on in the school, no matter what grade the kids is in. Peek over their shoulder sometime. Go behind them on the computer, see what they up to sometime. Check with the teacher, see how their attendance is, you know, how their grades are, what's going on. Stop giving your kids stuff that you're not making them work for. You want to be a cheerleader? Well, I got to spend expensive money for you to go to cheerleading camp and wear uniforms. You need to be bringing in some A's and B's, I would say. Make your children work for these grades. Don't keep just giving them everything, because they're not learning any responsibility. And I'm going to tell you something else. All of this Instagram stardom and this Instagram thing, watch it. It's slowly buzzing out. If you ain't got no real skills, you're going to be in trouble. I can wait until my daughter-in-law get her moment. They only care when it's them. Yep. That's so true. That's so true, JB. Nobody gives a damn until it hits home. By then, it's too late. So, anyway, these are two of the books that I ordered that talks about things that they're reading and showing to our small kids. Now, there's Demon and Devil Stories for kids that doesn't have any pictures. So this is going to have to be a little bit of an older audience so that they can understand what's being read. A lot of these kids don't know nothing about the Bible either until they get 9 or 10 years old. Let me tell you something. I was in the church from the time I could walk. When I couldn't walk, we was in the church. I've been in the church all my life. Have I done right all the time? Nope. We supposed to sin. We human. And I've done plenty of it. But God know my heart. So y'all, that is it for tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming over and hanging with me. Please hit the like button on your way out. We would really appreciate it. This is a Monday night, and I'm sure it's a Monday night fight going on somewhere. I'm going in here and fix me some.